Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the Northwest Regional Airport released their new passenger statistics, the Terrace RCMP are looking for a stolen e-bike, and Canadian lumber once again faces higher tariffs.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cael Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. A meth blender has been corrected by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans by allowing some extra late season openings in 2 fisheries areas. But this has some conservation experts sounding the alarm. CFTK-TV's Cael Maslin explains.
2 wrongs don't make a right, said Greg Taylor, Senior Fisheries Advisor to Watershed Watch and Skeena Wild. That's over the DFO's last-minute fix for an incorrect sockeye multiplier that was applied to the Tyee test fishery throughout the season. The Watershed Watch shared an email from Bradley Koroluk of the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, stating that the incorrect multiplier resulted in an underestimation of daily escapements. According to the DFO, the update resulted in additional Skeena sockeye for total available catch for 2 area fleets. The DFO then informed stakeholders they had planned 2 new area openings for additional fisheries to occur within the following week. But there's a problem with this, say both the Watershed Watch Salmon Society and the Skeena Wild Conservation Trust, and it's in the timing. They say these late-season fisheries will impact depleted sockeye populations, as well as chum and steelhead salmon runs that will be caught and discarded as bycatch in the controversial gillnet fishery. Both groups are calling the proposed late-season fisheries irresponsible and unnecessary. Taylor says the commercial marine fleet has had many days of fishing already, and that any additional allowable catch could have been harvested in more sustainable fisheries, close to the spawning grounds of more abundant populations where there will be less impact on depleted salmon and steelhead populations. He says the fleet's demands to open the fishery ignored the fact that the enhanced return had passed through their area, and any opening at that point targeted endangered wild sockeye populations. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Cael Maslin.
Canadian lumber is once again facing higher tariffs as the United States has increased duties on softwood, a move that could impact mills, workers, and housing costs here at home. Helen Asante shares more.
Canadian softwood lumber now faces a 14.5% tariff set by the U.S. Department of Commerce. Canadian supplies close to a third of American demand, meaning the change could ripple through both countries. A proposed 25% tariff announced earlier this year was delayed, but future reviews in Washington could raise duties even higher.
We'll be announcing some additional tariffs over the next few days, having to do with automobiles, cars, and having also to do a little bit with lumber down the road, lumber and chips.
For local mills, it means tighter margins and less room to compete with global suppliers. Workers could see slower production if demand drops.
If there's one thing that we've learned from the threat of President Trump's tariffs is our relationship with the United States has changed forever. Not just on lumber, but on all goods and services.
Europe is also stepping into the market, filling the supply gaps created by these trade tensions, a shift that could reshape pricing and supply chains in North America.
But when our market share has declined, the U.S.'s domestic supply hasn't technically increased that much. It's actually the European market that has increased.
Industry expert warns tariffs like these could often drive up construction costs, leaving both producers and consumers to absorb the impact. And now Ottawa is stepping up with $1 billion support package for the industry. Helen Asante, CFTK-TV News, Terrace.
Terrace's RCMP detachment listed off incidents that they had encountered mostly throughout the previous week in a new online report. One part of the report mentioned that the police got word that an e-bike had been stolen from a property located in the Gagnon Road area. It's believed to have been stolen sometime between 1 and 4 a.m. on August 13th, and anyone who has information on where it might be located is asked to call the Terrace RCMP at 250-638-7400. The Kitimat RCMP also recently put out a new report that detailed the most notable cases that they had to deal with throughout most of the previous week as well. The first part of the report talked about officers getting called to a White Sale residence due to a disturbance, with them then discovering that the residence had one of its windows broken. Officers quickly identified a suspect, and after attempting to speak with them, a scuffle ensued when the suspect did not cooperate. The suspect was eventually able to be arrested and spent the night in the RCMP cells before being released with a future court date. Coming up next is a look at the ongoing wildfire situation near Port Alberni. Welcome back. The Northwest Regional Terrace Kitimat Airport recently posted a new report that listed their passenger statistics for the month of July. After seeing a slight dip in its numbers during the month of June, July's passenger numbers came back strong, with 24,781 people passing through the airport. That number is the highest single month total that 2025 has seen to this point, and it continues the general theme of this year for the airport, which is monthly totals gradually going up more often than not. BC Transit made an announcement in relation to the northwestern communities of both Kitimat and Prince Rupert. A service change is set to occur in both places, as starting on August 31st, the Route 99 special that serves K-12 students will resume in both the mornings and afternoons. That route exists to help out school-aged kids during the school year, and to learn more about specific details about what the routes can look like, they can be found on BC Transit's website. Looking to the rainfall now, as it is helping to slow the growth of the ravenous wildfire near Port Alberni, local states of emergency remain in effect as the fire is still burning out of control. As CTV's Anna McMillan shows us, the weather has its positives, but also presents new challenges.
A thick smog has settled over the Alberni Valley as rain touches down on the Mount Underwood wildfire burning nearby.
It's about time. Yeah, it should help the fire.
I hope it rains a lot harder too.
Cooler, wetter weather is helping with the fight against the fire, which is now believed to be human-caused.
We'll get some more rain tonight and probably tomorrow morning, and then it stays cool, although it does look a little bit drier for the end of the weekend.
Poor visibility is preventing the BC Wildfire Service from understanding the current size of the fire, burning 8 kilometers south of Port Alberni. Its aircraft are grounded due to smoke and fog.
Even though the aircraft aren't flying, the people on the ground are out there doing the work that they need to do.
Now that the fire isn't as aggressive, they can hose and dig in areas that were previously too dangerous.
Ultimately, it is the crews on the ground that do extinguish it.
They're prioritizing work on the northwest corner of the fire due to the presence of structures like this campground and because of its proximity to the Alberni Valley.
The fire is not actively growing, actively moving, and we're not seeing any notable fire activity.
Parks Canada is trying to take some pressure off the communities near the West Coast Trail that are without power because of the fire.
Parks Canada is waiving all our regular cancellation fees and offering full refunds to any visitors on the West Coast Trail, and have restricted any new reservations to the area as we're implementing this stage reduction to visits.
Those going ahead with their hike are asked to take a shuttle bus instead of driving their personal vehicles to Bamfield.
We're not aware of any significant issues with hikers going on and off the trail other than the obvious closure of the travel routes to Port Alberni.
The Wildfire Service says rainfall totals over the next few days will determine the trajectory of the fire and whether its crews can get it under control anytime soon. Anna McMillan, CTV News.
After a deep freeze wiped out their crops in 2024, Okanagan stone fruit farmers are bouncing back with a banner year. Peaches, cherries, and nectarines are plentiful and tasty this summer, leading to sales that longtime farmers say may be their best ever. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
The peaches are perfect and the cherries plump and juicy.
It's a fabulous year for
growing fruit here in the Okanagan.
It's been a banner summer for BC's stone fruit farmers.
It makes me want to keep farming. It's been so good to see the abundance of fruit on all the trees.
This abundance is a lifeline for Okanagan farmers whose crops were wiped out by a deep freeze in 2024.
It was really heartbreaking and expensive for any farmer because you have to take care of the trees for another 12 months before you're going to get a crop out of them.
This year's weather has been ideal for stone fruit trees, and the yield has been off the charts.
Everybody's really excited. There's nothing like biting into an Okanagan grown peach. That is what everybody's coming out for. They're coming to pick their own, and they're coming to experience the orchards again.
Customers are all really happy. I think, you know the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think that's definitely been true with the fruit this year.
Farmers who've been growing here for decades can't remember the last time they've had a season like this.
We haven't had a year like 2025. We had a few challenges over the years with the relocation of the highway, but we are having sales days that blow the doors off of even our best days before the highway moved.
Not only is the quality top-notch, locally grown fruit is what British Columbians are looking for.
I'm convinced that there's more people willing to specifically buy BC fruit and are capable and willing to pay a fair price for it. So all of those factors are contributing to be just a banner year here in 2025 at the farm.
Farmers know Mother Nature is unpredictable and anything could happen next year.
It's a bit of a roller coaster if you're a farmer. We've been through it, and right now we're kind of right at that peak.
British Columbians have a few more weeks to enjoy the peak deliciousness. Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
And now we take a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the North Coast, tonight should be getting periods of rain, while the upcoming week expects to see lots of clouds and rain with a possibly a little bit of sun and a high shifting from 13 to 18 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, the forecast for tonight will most likely get periods of rain and a low at 10 degrees, with the rest of the week starting off rainy before the sun comes out and then gets mixed in with clouds, while the high moves from 16 to 22 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, their night should see a chance of showers and a low at 7 degrees, and the next week or so is set to see showers and mixed conditions before switching it up to purely sunny days, and their high will bounce between 16 and 28 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. Highway 16 has construction work, bridge maintenance, utility work, road maintenance work, mowing, and paving operations. Highway 37 has bridge construction and roadside brushing. Highway 37A is still dealing with falling rocks between west of Mesiadin and east of Stewart, as well as paving operations. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come is a further look into the big meeting at the White House today. Welcome back. Some of the most powerful leaders in the world went to the White House today to talk to the U.S. president about peace for Ukraine. The group, a buffer for Volodymyr Zelensky, who also had a high-stakes meeting with Donald Trump, his first since that tense exchange from earlier this year. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
The Ukrainian president arrived at the White House dressed in a black suit instead of his usual military uniform. Donald Trump took notice.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Volodymyr Zelensky also made sure he voiced his appreciation for the president's effort to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
Thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war.
But the devil is in the details, and Zelensky wants to make sure the plan Trump discussed with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska will respect Ukraine's sovereignty. Speaking with reporters, Trump said a deal can be worked out without a ceasefire.
We can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other.
On social media, Trump said on Sunday that Zelensky can end the war if it gives up Crimea and membership in NATO. Russia took over Crimea in 2014, and after 3.5 years of war, it controls almost all of the Donbas region in southeast Ukraine. Putin wants Ukraine to give up territory as a condition for peace.
When we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe.
To prevent Ukraine's interests from being subverted in a deal brokered by the U.S. and Russia, 7 European leaders from Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, the European Union, and NATO's Secretary General traveled to Washington to stand with Zelensky to warn against trusting Putin and fight for security guarantees.
We're going to try and get a 3-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can.
Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
An Ottawa woman who is visually impaired is speaking up, alleging she's being denied Uber rides because of her service dog. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
He's protected by law. It's a familiar and frustrating situation for Salome Solomon. The Uber arrives, then drives away.
He's like, I'm sorry, I don't accept pets. I was like, he's not a pet, he's a guide dog. He's protected by law.
Salome is visually impaired and needs a guide dog to get around safely. But this isn't the first time she's been left at the curb.
I am denied at least one time every time I order an Uber.
She relies on her guide dog, Oliver Zurich, trained through the Lions Foundation of Canada for daily independence. And by law, service animals must be accepted by transportation providers, including rideshare drivers. But Salome says what's written in law doesn't match what happens in real life.
Every time I'm denied access, it's like a dagger in the heart, to be honest. It's like a reminder that, like, you're not normal, like, you're not one of us.
Uber's own website states drivers must accept riders with service dogs, adding in a statement, discrimination of any kind is unacceptable on the Uber platform. When signing up, drivers agree to transport service animals and operate in compliance with all laws.
I've missed so many medical appointments that I had to pay for. There are times I'm like, I'm not coming out of my house. What's the point?
The company says riders should report denials immediately, and drivers who knowingly discriminate may be permanently removed from the platform. But Salome says enforcement feels non-existent.
I've written to Uber many times. I'm like, can I speak to somebody higher instead of a robot? Then they call you at a weird number, and then they say, oh, we're very sorry this happens. Here's $2 off the ride.
In one case, she says a driver sped off so fast he nearly hit her and her dog. And until something changes, she says she won't stay quiet.
Disability is dignity, and it's not for sale. It doesn't have a price tag on it. It's sure as hell is not worth $2.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Do you get fed up with people walking too slow or hogging the sidewalk? Well, now one rising star on social media is trying to do something about it. He's building an online community of folks who can't stand poor sidewalk etiquette. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Sidewalkers, part 65. A lifelong New Yorker fed up with what he refers to as bad walkers.
People are actually this unaware and slow. I think people go through it all the time, all around the world.
For the past few months, Matt Bass here has been picking up millions of views on TikTok.
An awful pace, huge width.
As he documents the people who do not seem to respect the hustle and bustle of America's biggest city. One commenter writing, "This account is so validating, LOL.
When? Oh, I didn't even plan that.
Oftentimes, people are glued to their phones.
Happy family with a chain link fence.
Matt will also come up with different names for walking formations.
We're 5 wide, not a care in the world, taking up the whole sidewalk.
Or just count how large a group is as they stroll side by side by side by side by side.
Have you tried saying excuse me?
I say excuse me all the time. The excuse me is often met with indifference.
Now his commenters have been suggesting different instruments to get people's attention with, such as a rubber chicken. or a bell which did not seem to work really at all.
Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
And while yes, as Dustin Hoffman showcased in Midnight Cowboy, New Yorkers may just always be in an unnecessary hurry, Matt says he hears from folks in rural areas too.
When they say, go to the grocery store, I can't get through an aisle, or, you should see my Costco on Sunday.
They're just taking up the whole sidewalk. The cross-body bag convention might be happening this weekend.
So up next, Matt now wants to take bad walkers on the road and visit the many cities his online community suggests are equally frustrating.
I know that there are other places with walking inefficiencies that need documenting.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets are looking as of today compared to the end of last week. The Canadian dollar is down 1/100 of a cent, the price of gold is down $4.60, oil is up 72 cents, natural gas is down 2 cents, aluminum is down $8.50, in Toronto the TSX is up 17.36 points, the Venture Index is down 1.69, in New York the Dow Jones is down 34.30 and Nasdaq is up 6. Still ahead, a sailor turned his boat into a multi-century-old throwback. Welcome back. A cowboy helped catch a cow on the run near a busy Illinois roadway, and a sailor turned his boat into a pirate ship. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth with Take a Look at This.
Watch an escaped cow situation on an Illinois highway turn into a literal roadway rodeo when officials decide to call in the cowboys. Video from Williamson County authorities shows the moment the large ornery animal escaped from its trailer while parked at a gas station. By the way, what exactly were you thinking the squeegee was going to do there, pal? Anyway, the livestock went on the lam near an interstate overpass, but luckily coordinating agencies had, coordinated with local cattlemen who hoofed it on horseback after the hightail and heifer, eventually wrangling it thanks to a well-placed lasso. The department later shared the clip saying teamwork isn't just for catching criminals, sometimes it's for catching cows. And now to a different kind of rodeo, a snowplow rodeo. That's what officials in Wisconsin call an annual competition designed to put local snowplow pilots through their paces. You're probably thinking, what in the upper Midwest is going on here? But winters in this region are no joke, which is why the Wisconsin chapter of the American Public Works Association put together this tenacious test of vehicle safety and operations, mechanical knowledge, and driving ability, so that when the snowfall gets steady, these drivers are ready. Finally, take a look at a vessel in Rhode Island that is anything but typical. In fact, it's not normal. That's the name of this sailboat turned pirate ship helmed by Jason DePietro. Yes, he's the pilot of this ship who poured his blood, sweat, tears, and time into fixing up the kooky craft, which he hopes to use for charity purposes. That's a goal lofty enough to get even the most cynical landlubbers to exclaim, "Shiver me timbers, laddie!" Wait, no, that's Scottish. Whatever, you get the idea. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
The Vancouver International Airport sent out a statement saying that Air Canada's mainline passengers should not go to the airport unless they have a confirmed flight, as the work stoppage involving flight attendants continues. YVR said Air Canada Jazz and Express flights are not affected, but the mainline service has not resumed yet. The union representing striking flight attendants also mentioned that job action will continue despite a back-to-work order by the Canada Industrial Relations Board. The board has previously declared the strike unlawful after Ottawa ordered the two sides in the Air Canada dispute into binding arbitration. That's all of our news for now. From everyone here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.